Hello everyone, this is Jack Frost with your weekly update for Nasdaq. Overall, price has found a small bounce after continuing down somewhat, as both Elliott Wave counts expect. Elliott Wave first, technical analysis last. On the main bullish weekly chart, intermediate wave 3 within primary wave 1 has moved up here and is labelled a complete impulse with an extended third wave. Intermediate wave 4 labelled an incomplete zigzag, currently within minor wave C. Intermediate wave 4 has a target calculated at 12827.22, the 0.382 Fibonacci ratio of intermediate wave 3. For the short term, no part of intermediate wave 4 can move into intermediate wave 1 price territory at 11210.38. And for the long term, no second wave corrective movement within primary wave 1 can move below its start at 10092.94. An Elliott channel is drawn around the current intermediate degrees from the end of intermediate wave 1 to the end of intermediate wave 3 with a parallel copy on the end of intermediate wave 2. Intermediate wave 4 has somewhat overshot this channel, and the channel will be redrawn when intermediate wave 4 is labelled complete. When that channel is redrawn, intermediate wave 5 may find resistance at the upper edge of that channel. For the bigger picture, cycle wave 5 is expected to pull price up within super cycle wave 1. And on the daily chart, with the end of minor wave 2 within intermediate wave 3 over here, price has overall declined for intermediate wave 4 with minor waves A and B complete, expecting an extended minor wave C to move price lower for minute wave 5 with minute waves 3 and 4 over here and here. An Elliott channel is drawn around intermediate wave 4 from the beginning of minor wave A to the end of minor wave B with a copy on the end of minor wave A. The end of minor wave C and minute wave 5 may find support at the lower edge of this channel, overall expected to pull price lower with increasing momentum. On the bearish weekly chart, this alternate sees cycle wave 4 incomplete, overall pulling price lower, and it sees the current bullish movements as a rally within a larger bearish trend. Primary wave X of cycle wave 4 expected to pull price slightly higher before moving lower for primary wave Y and the end of cycle wave 4. Minor wave 4 within intermediate wave C of primary wave X is expected to pull price slightly lower with a target calculated at 12827.22, the 0.382 Fibonacci ratio of minor wave 3. An Elliott channel is drawn around the current minor movements from the end of minor wave 1 to the end of minor wave 3 with a copy on the end of minor wave 2. As minor wave 4 has overshot this channel, the channel will be redrawn when minor wave 4 is labelled complete, which will give some indication of where minor wave 5, intermediate wave C, and primary wave X may find some resistance. Intermediate wave C has a target calculated at 14326, the 1.618 Fibonacci ratio of intermediate wave A. And for minor wave 4, no part of it can move into minor wave 1 price territory at 11210.38. And on the bearish daily chart with the end of minor wave 2 over here, price has overall moved down for minor wave 4, currently subdividing as a double zigzag, currently within minute wave Y. An Elliott channel is drawn around the minute degrees within minor wave 4 from the beginning of minute wave W to the end of minute wave X with a parallel copy on the end of minute wave W. Minute wave Y is expected to find support at the lower edge of this channel, where minute wave Y and minor wave 4 may be labelled complete, overall expected to pull price lower still. On the technical weekly chart, the last 2 weeks have had some slight action with overall declining volume, staying within support at 12500 and resistance at 14250. On balance volume has no new range, just falling short of resistance at prior support. Currently it has no signal. ADX declines, showing no clear trend with RSI and money flow both neutral. Stochastics is entering oversold and ATR declines as price consolidates. And on the technical daily chart, price has moved below resistance at 13300, coming back to test it here. Volume is overall declining with a slight push on some of the bearish candlesticks. On balance volume continues in a range with no signal, though if it does react from resistance here, it will give a bearish signal. ADX is currently increasing with a bearish trend, RSI and money flow both neutral, and stochastics returning from oversold, and ATR is increasing as price declines. And on the Nasdaq AD chart, the AD line continues to make lower lows as price continues to make higher lows. This continues the long-term bearish divergence back to February 2023 and all the way back to 2009. That's all for me with your weekly update for Nasdaq. I hope everyone has a good week.